I made a shocking discovery today when I was hanging out over at MEUK's Discord server.
Are we gonna keep on fighting? Are we gonna keep on dividing? Are we gonna keep on fighting? Are we gonna keep on dividing? Well, are we gonna keep on fighting? Are we gonna keep on dividing? Are we gonna keep on fighting? Are we gonna keep on dividing? Well, did you hear what I said? It's all about
Slice Barcane.
And it sounded like if you said your father,
Let's read the tweet again. Can you read the tweet again, lad?
Hi there, not Bev's son. How does it feel to know that Dad can't use a measuring tape, an auto level, or do geometry? Not to mention that he thinks all those folks are needlessly poking fun at you for being different or behaving properly.
There you go. You sound like are you Dutch or German, Funk?
I'm not German.
No, you're not. You know Slice Barcane's in Germany, right?
What? Sorry, what did you say?
You know Slice Barcane is in Germany.
Slice Barcane?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
You've never heard of Slice Barcane?
No.
Oh, dear. Have you never heard of the bending water level test? I mean, it failed.
No.
It failed badly. The first one.
I haven't heard about something called bendy water test. Do you call it bendy water level test?
You've never heard of that?
Not something called that, no.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's just say there's a troll on Twitter that just wrote that, right? You heard somebody read out a tweet, right? And it was, "Hello, not Bev's son." Right. So,
I didn't hear that part though. I just heard the Twitter.
I'll tell you what. I'll take a screenshot of it then, right?
That's fine.
And then you can actually have
I'm assuming he was saying something about his father, so I was guessing that. And that's why I asked the question.
About his father?
No.
Is this a language problem that we're having?
No, he said, how do you feel about your father?
Yeah, look,
not being if you are his father, I'm guessing he is your son, right?
Yeah. So
or
the tweet says, "Hi there, not Bev's son."
Yeah, I didn't get that part.
Well,
I
look,
got it now.
it's in the live stream, yeah.
I haven't opened it. Let me open it. There's no live stream chat.
No, yeah, you haven't got it. I'll tell you what. I'll put it in debate discussion for you.
Well, all I did was I asked what happened, and if he's not
right. Well, yeah, but you have to. We have to get the full context, right? In order.
Yeah. That's why I asked. Okay. That's why I asked you the question.
So there's the tweet.
Yeah.
And it's from Slice Barcane.
Oh, sorry, not okay. Why would he say it like that?
Not Bev's son. Sounds like he's a troll, right?
I guess so.
Yeah. So you say you don't know who Slice Barcane is?
Oh, that's how it's written. Okay. No, I don't know who that is.
Wow. Like he imagines
I wrote something like
as one
Slice Barcane. Let me show you how I wrote it.
He's a very big man, right? He imagines himself as a very, very big man within this community. And you don't know, you say you don't know who he is.
No, I don't know who that is.
He's supposedly been around for a long time.
Has he been on the Flat Earth debate, science versus Glober server, or the debate Flat Earth and more?
No,
I wasn't in here. I wasn't there. I wasn't involved in the Flat Earth.
Talking about him in the Discord now. Link him to the
Yeah, I know, but
Discord
Okay.
if you want.
that won't be me. Nobody's seen me.
But who Schleiss
Oh, yeah,
Barkane?
that's
Where is he now?
Craig,
Is
isn't
it
it?
just on Twitter or is
Yeah.
he
Well-
in any Discord server?
He's one of these trolls, right? You all have different accounts, and so that's why I was asking where you were, because you could be Slice Barkane, or you could be acting on behalf of Slice
Oh.
Barkane. As far
Sure,
as
I
I
could
know,
be that.
that's him anyway. In that
Yeah.
picture there.
I can tell you that's not me.
No, but you've never seen him because he
No.
does imagine himself as a very, very big figure in this. But
I don't know.
You say you've never heard of his bending water level test? Where
No.
he's going to prove the curvature of.
I have never heard about Schleiss Barkane unless he has been on Discord with another nickname alias, which maybe I have heard him, but I would have to hear his voice. If I could hear his voice, then
So-
maybe I could recognize him.
He imagines himself as one of the people that's proved the globe for you. If you
could
don't
be,
know
I don't
who he
know.
is, who are the ones that you know that have proved the globe for you? You know, who if it's not
It
Slice
wasn't named.
Barkane. Yeah.
I believe Red's Rhetoric has posted some good videos.
Okay. And he
Specific to
rockets.
no, yeah, like specific to anti-flat Earth, if you want to call it that. Because there's a lot of people who have done things, but it's not
Anti-flat Earth.
specifically. Yeah, I mean he's vocal in these communities.
Is that
So
not like a
he do this.
bigoted approach? That to be anti something.
Yeah, I use that word because a lot of things have been done which disprove that the Earth is flat, but they didn't necessarily do it against this community.
Yeah, see, listen. It's not hard to disprove the Earth is flat because the Earth is the topography.
I mean, over water, for example,
Well, the water level is horizontal, right?
or you can do it over land if
Well,
you.
the land is the topography, so that's not flat. There's lumps and bumps. That's
So
what the
it's flat.
topography means.
Yeah, but you can take that into account, though.
You could take what into account? The
The
elevation
topography.
changes, yeah. But
Yes.
in calling it flat, you can't take in a change in elevation and still call it flat. Not in my world, anyway.
What would you call it? And
I call the land the topography and the elevation change, right? I would say the water level is horizontal. That's just my reality, you know. I mean, no big deal. But I think
Yeah.
you'd call that. You may call that flat Earth because a lot of people do tend to do that. But it's just
Well-
really level being horizontal.
Who's Casey?
Oh, she's
The-
one
the
that
thing
pretends
is,
to be a teacher,
I'm not calling it
Canadian
flat
teacher.
to say I'm not calling it flat because I'm saying that the Earth is 100% flat without any
Well-
bumps at all.
Okay.
I would never do that.
Beth,
The
Yeah.
same reason if you call.
did you know what just happened?
What?
Toby did a reply, huh? Look at this. This is fast. How happened this? Look in the live stream text. He called me a cunt. I didn't even report it.
Oh, is
I
it
think
gone?
I think Twitter was on him now. I think he's got a ban now from Twitter. I think Twitter's on his report. He's had so much reports the last day. I think Twitter knows enough. We're gonna do this research what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's got a ban.
I'll just reply
Or
to
not.
it.
Oh, no,
What do you
no,
have
no,
to
he's
achieve
no.
to class yourself as expert.
She thinks
Yeah,
she's
I
a
wanna-
geometry teacher.
I want to know what her expert is. Her description of expert.
Yeah. Yeah. Funk, are you do you have like an extra like a Twitter account or
I don't use Twitter actually.
do you not? Do you have
No.
like an anti-flat Earth account or something, like a troll account where you...
I have a alternative account. It's not a troll account. It's just because I want to be anonymous. Oh my god, I can't say that word.
Anonymous.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, anonymous. It's an account to be anonymous on
Yeah.
these forums.
Yeah. Well, like that's,
That's
initially
the
how
account
you have
I'm
to
using
start
now.
here, right? Yeah. Because you don't want people, right, calling you names and stuff, do you? Because
It's
you
more
might have
so-
an opinion that they don't
No.
like.
Well, it's more so that some people, I'm not saying anybody here or anybody else, but like there are some people who are a bit crazy on the internet, and I would prefer to have them not knowing who I am in real life, so they can find out who I am, and I don't know if they want to fuck with me.
Yeah, maybe, call companies up that you go and buy equipment from just to make up lies about you and find out where you've been and all of that sort of stuff.
Oh, just general, if they want to harass me in any way,
Yeah.
if some persons want to do that, I would prefer, since I use this account for talking with people I would not normally talk to. So I would prefer to be anonymous. I don't want them to know who I am.
Yeah, I think that's what everybody does, right? Even down to the fact that Sly Sparkane, that's obviously not his real name, is it? But I mean, he would say you were doxing him by showing a picture of him, like I just did earlier, that he put on the internet when he was putting a finger up at somebody, right?
I've heard some stories
Yeah.
about flat earthers being doxxed by somebody who has been, for example, they have been trustworthy to some other people in the flat earth community, and it's not that they were against or for flat earth, but for some reason they got off on a bad foot, and the other person decided to fuck with that person. So they basically, they have all the logs, a lot of things that they have said, and they started following those persons around, friending their family members and friends on Facebook and telling him shit about that person. For example, I've heard about that. So yeah, that's why I want to be anonymous. And oh my god, I cannot say that word.
Yeah.
Anonymous.
I have that word is so fucking weird. I cannot say it.
Yeah.
I don't like, regardless if it's flat earther or glober or whatever. It's not something that is cool to do. Like, keep it on the platform which we are using. It's a reason why we have this platform. It's because you don't want to go. If you want to go out in real life and showing flyers and say that the Earth is flat, sure, you can do that. But people, if they decide to do it on the platform,
Right.
I
so
guess they want to prefer to keep it on this platform.
You've just said the Earth is flat, right? Can I just get a clarifier, right? I don't think the Earth's flat because, like I say, there's topography. But
I know that,
listen,
but-
but I do think the water level is horizontal, right? Now, do you think that me saying that level is horizontal is flat Earth?
I don't know how you can deduce any other shape from that, to be honest.
Right, so because you're misconstruing the word level and horizontal, you're equating that with flat Earth, and is that why you presumably think that you don't think level is horizontal?
Oh, I've done this discussion before.
Yeah, I know, yeah, but this is quite simple, right?
Level and horizontal is the same thing at the same spot.
Okay, so then you would consider yourself as a flat earther at that point that you're at, would you?
Well, at that millimeter, you have the
Okay,
Earth
but
is,
at that point that you imagine level being horizontal, is that the point where you are a flat earther then?
No, because the Earth is referring to the whole Earth, not just the point.
Right. So when I say that level is horizontal, what are you disagreeing with then?
I'm disagreeing. I'm not with anything you said just now, but I know that you have said that if you measure the level elsewhere on Earth, you're saying that
When you say measure the level, can you explain what you mean by that?
you can measure it by creating a perpendicular line or plane, if you want, which is perpendicular to plumb.
Forming a perpendicular isn't really a measurement, is it?
I would call it a measurement, though.
What? A measurement of what?
You're measuring plumb, and you can do.
No, you're just forming a plumb, like you form a level, don't you? You make a horizontal. You don't measure it. You measure things from the horizontal and from the vertical, but you don't actually measure those two particular lines, right? They're just intrinsic to, right?
I think it's a bit. I don't think it's any point in actually discussing those things, because
well, it is really,
whether you call it measuring or creating.
You're calling us a flat earther because of it, right? But you don't even understand what it means, do you?
Not because of that change you said now.
What?
Whether you're saying you're creating a plumb line or measuring the plumb line.
Level is horizontal. That's the only claim I've ever made, right?
I know that you're saying that.
And I've developed many tests to prove that level is horizontal. Right? Now, if I have a proof that level is horizontal, and then you say, it is horizontal, yes, I agree with you, but that makes you a flat earther, but not me a flat earther. When I'm not claiming to be a flat earther, I'm telling you the reason that the Earth is not flat is because there is topography. Provably not flat.
You're lacking the rest of it, the context.
No, listen, look.
I
can prove the land, the Earth, is not flat. I can prove that to you. Right? So, I would ask that you do not label me with something I can prove it doesn't happen with that label, right? And then because you decide that you're going to label me with that label, right, that you also think that level is horizontal. You're not going to give me any other thing that level is other than horizontal. You have no proof for it. So you also think exactly the same thing that I do. But
it's a big difference, though.
The big difference is that you think you're right with your imagined curve that you just imagine.
Oh. Yeah. No. Let me explain to you.
Okay.
When I said if you create a level at a certain point, and you create a level at a secondary point, and and you form a horizontal plane out of that, those two planes will not be parallel. That's where we are in a disagreement.
Okay, so do you have any geometry to support that ridiculous notion that you've just said?
I wouldn't say that's the right way to go about.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not Euclidean geometry, is it?
Euclidean geometry. What are you talking about?
It's definitely not Euclidean geometry. What you've just said about horizontal planes intersecting is not Euclidean geometry.
I think you can use Euclidean geometry to measure the curve. So you can create triangles from it, for example.
You can create triangles.
Yes, and
But
those are
but
using Euclid.
listen, this is perpendicular, right? Horizontal and vertical are perpendicular.
Yes, but
Yes,
I'm
that
talking
is
about
Euclidean geometry, right? Straight lines.
Yes.
That is Euclidean geometry. That's defined
yes.
within
I
Euclidean
don't
geometry.
disagree with that.
Brilliant.
But I don't understand how you can't measure the angle between two planes using Euclidean geometry. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah, you can. That you have to use Euclidean geometry to measure an angle.
Sure. And when you do that, you get a difference. And that's...
You get a difference. Sorry.
Didn't you hear what I said just now?
Yeah, you get a difference. A
I just
difference
told
in
you.
relation to what?
Angle.
Yes.
In
but
relation to
a
each
difference
other.
To the angle of what?
Between the two horizontal planes.
There's an angle between the two horizontals. Where do you measure the angle?
We measure the angle between the two horizontal planes which you created.
So you measure the angle between the two horizontals. Where they intersect?
Wherever it doesn't have to intersect. It's a plane.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
it's a
where
horizontal
the
plane
is.
I know what a horizontal plane is, yeah.
Oh.
So it's a horizontal plane, and then it's meeting another horizontal plane, and we have to measure the angle in between the two horizontal planes.
You measure the angle between the two horizontal planes.
Yeah.
And then you get an angle.
That's what you said. Yeah, but what sort of angle would you imagine us to get when we measured the angle between the two horizontal planes where they meet?
Depends on the distance between the two.
Okay.
Observing point.
Okay. And can you give us some sort of formula for this, the intersection of horizontal planes as a function of distance?
Sure. I would have to bring up my book. I can show you.
Okay. Would this be a number or an angle? Well, I suppose it's an angular measurement, right?
It'll be an angle.
Okay. Is there going to be a maximum angle for this horizontal plane?
You measure. Obviously.
Yeah.
You cannot have the angle greater than 90 degrees, otherwise they're not going to intersect.
You can't have an angle greater than what?
Oh, sorry, if the angle is 90 degrees, they won't intersect.
The horizontals won't intersect if the angle is greater.
Yeah, sorry, it does intersect. I was thinking wrong.
It does intersect?
Yes.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Well, that
I think
wouldn't it be not intersect?
Angle, why would you think? Why would you think? What would you think the maximum angle is? What's the limit?
On what you've just stated as a ridiculous geometry.
Well, you're measuring
of the horizontal planes intersecting.
I don't care so much about what the maximum and minimum is. I'm caring about what you measure in the first place, right?
The angle between horizontal planes where they intersect would be about 180 degrees. Like, because it's a straight line, isn't it?
And there is no angle, or 180 degrees or 0, you can say that.
Yeah, like what you call it the parallel postulate, I call it the 12th axiom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But are you saying you're not measuring any degrees in difference between those two horizontal planes?
Yeah, because it's horizontal, right?
That's, you can't just say it. I'm talking about the measurement. You're saying it doesn't create a measurement.
Wow, do you see what quizzically is saying, Beth, all the time? Ooh.
We're talking to Funk at the minute. Yeah, we'll get around to that. Yeah, Funk, it's you imagine an angle. what tool do you imagine you'd use to measure the angle of where the horizontals intersect as a function of distance?
I believe you could use something they used when they first measured this angle. They used some theodolite is normally used today. You can use that. Or
but
you can use...
that's a Euclidean geometry measurement tool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what?
So you measuring an intersection of horizontals and an angle between where the two horizontals meet.
Yes.
So you're saying that one horizontal will have a different angular measurement than an other horizontal. And
the two horizontal planes are intersecting at an angle.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so that
it's it's not one or the other has an angle.
Okay,
it's
it's
in reference to each other.
Have you got a drawing that you might be able to help us out with or anything? Just let us have a look. Right, can you show us the two horizontal lines, and where they would particularly the angle, where that angle would be measured by the theodolite that you imagine. I've just got to make a brew. You can have a word with him if you want.
Just give me a second.
This did.
Rules are that Funk, aren't the rules
Toby
for
made a
this?
new account.
Aren't the rules for this that there's something like you're not allowed to believe or the people you label as flat earthers can never be correct about anything. If a globe believer starts off believing something, then a flat earther or a deemed person that you label flat earther cannot ever be correct, ever.
You can be correct. It's no problem.
Okay, but like the trolls on Twitter, I mean, you say you don't you don't really speak for all of the globe Earth believers, do you?
You mean I'm the boss of?
No, I mean, like
7.9 billion people.
You can imagine that there are a really hardcore group of globe believing trolls that are out there that are really horrible people.
There are trolls in all communities.
Well, like, so what do you get trolled by people that go and try and like threaten you? Call you a child abuser?
I've never had anybody call me a child abuser, but I've had people troll me. Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, like, these people now that are calling me a child abuser or on Twitter are now actually talking to my son on Twitter because, you know, they say he's been mentally abused. He's now talking to them. Now they presume that he's me. But, I mean, he's not. He's himself, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm a young person.
But they'll never have that now. So now they're going to report my account for me making another account pretending to be somebody else.
Yeah, about Twitter. For God knows.
Sure, that can happen.
Yeah.
People
Yeah,
are
Toby.
trolls.
Toby
Happens
made a new account, Bev.
all
It
the time.
doesn't. It's nothing special to globe or flat Earth that you cannot be an idiot. You can be an idiot whether you're.
Yeah, but these people do it, right, because I've said that level is horizontal. And much like you keep saying, right? And then they assume because you say that, that they put you a label on you and call you flat earther. Right? And then they can just decide what they want because then because you've been labelled flat earther, then you're obviously stupid. And you can't be cleverer than a globe earther if you've been labelled as a flat earther, yeah?
I don't think necessarily you have to be stupid. I mean, some people I've talked to are very uneducated in the things that they try to speak about.
Yeah, a lot of the people I talk to have been like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that I find kind of, I don't know what to say. I don't know why they are trying to argue about things that they haven't really spent time on figuring out how it actually works.
Okay, so have you actually spent time figuring out how level actually works?
What you're talking about level? Are you talking about the instrument or the shape level or
yeah,
what you're talking
all of that?
Yeah, I actually have done something.
Good.
Some things
Well,
about
then the discussion should be very easy, shouldn't it?
it. Actually, it should.
So yeah, so we'll be able to agree pretty quickly that level is horizontal, right?
Yes.
Yes. That's brilliant.
I never said anything else.
So if to all the people that think that level is horizontal means flat Earth, can you tell them? Does it mean flat Earth? Are you flat Earth because you've just said level is horizontal?
No, and the reason for that is using that statement. If I did one measurement, sure, the level I can create a level line which is the same as horizontal line.
Okay.
But if I do a second measurement, I would be able to figure out whether that level line is the same if it's parallel to every other level line, and that's where we disagree.
Oh right. So what? How would you clarify it then? Because level is horizontal, right?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Right,
you can create a horizontal line, but horizontal line isn't reality. Horizontal line is something created on a piece of paper.
Okay, listen to this.
The things that you teach your child.
Listen.
I'm saying, personally, I believe the things that you teach your child, your autistic child, is psychological child abuse.
I know who that guy
is. Level. No, you teach your child that level is a horizontal plane, which is not true. Yes, and the implication of that is that you are teaching your child the earth is flat. No. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
So level is a horizontal plane? Is that what you disagree with? Or do you...
No, if you create a level line and a horizontal line, they are the same at the same point. They are the same thing.
So it's a plane, right? It's level is a horizontal plane. Well,
but it's nothing. It's not related to reality. It's something you did. You measure something at that point.
But Flat Earth.
It's no point.
Flat Earth said that means flat Earth. By implication, you mean flat Earth. If you say level is horizontal, he said it. Play it again.
Do you understand the distinction? It's a very important distinction. If you do one measurement and you create a level line or horizontal line, same thing, horizontal plane, and you do the same type of measurement, a second place.
No, listen. Listen again.
I'm saying, personally, I believe the things that you teach your child, your autistic child, is psychological child abuse. Like that water is level. No, you teach your child that level is a horizontal plane, which is not true. Yes, and the implication of that is that you are teaching your child the earth is flat.
No. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I said that I'm teaching my son that the water is level, and he said no, No, you are teaching your son that level is a horizontal plane. And by implication, that means you are teaching him that the earth is flat. Therefore, that is child abuse. To fight the flat earth, at least. Anyway, now, do you agree with him or disagree with him?
I agree with how he said it. Yes.
You agree with him?
Yes.
But you did just agree that level is horizontal.
Yes, but as I can repeat myself.
So you agree?
I can repeat myself again.
You don't have children, do you?
I do.
Oh dear. You haven't taught your children that level is horizontal, have you?
I teach him about reality.
No. But level being horizontal reality.
Level and horizontal is just two words. It's what you apply to it, which is important.
Okay.
So in my opinion, when we use the word level, we say it's perpendicular to plumb in this context.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, perpendicular to vertical is horizontal.
It's a very difference between when you're doing two measurements and you're saying that if I measure two levels from the plumb line, if you create two levels from the plumb line at these 2 points, if you're saying no, these are parallel, there are no angle between those two levels, that's actually a flat plane you created now. You created a flat plane.
Yeah, a plane is a two-dimensional.
It can be three-dimensional. Sure, it can be depth underneath and above the plane.
A plane? No. A plane is a two-dimensional thing, right?
I know that, but
Okay.
We used it for the measurement, right? We measured the surface of the Earth, and the surface of the Earth is 2D.
Well, no, see what you might not be understanding this, but I'll try and give you an example of it, right? A vertical is a vertical in all directions in 360 degrees all the way around it. You can walk around it and it will always be vertical. Now, because of that fact that a vertical is one straight line up and down, then a perpendicular to it in a three-dimensional model is a plane underneath, because you can turn that plane, that perpendicular, through 360 degrees. That makes a horizontal plane of reference.
And it's nice tools to use to measure things, right? You can calculate things by creating these planes.
You can make a horizontal plane, and you can measure the distance from it.
Yeah. But you don't.
Hypsometry is the distance above the water level, and bathymetry is the distance below the water level.
What do you use the horizontal plane for?
For measuring elevation changes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that too, and that's true.
Mm-hmm. Or construction, for laying the foundations of buildings. Yeah. Laying pipework, because you need to know the drop from the horizontal. I imagine when they were making the canals, horizontal was quite important at that point too.
Yes.
So what do you imagine them using a horizontal for?
I believe they can use it for that also.
Okay.
They can use it for that. No, I don't believe. Not that I believe. I know that they use it for that also.
Okay.
That's what we use it today, because we have figured out the shape.
Yeah, the water level. So we can say that safely say that the water level in the canal.
Shape of the Earth was figured out hundreds of years ago.
Yeah. So we've already figured out that the water level in the canal is going to be horizontal. We've known that.
What do you mean by water level? You mean like spirit level, or?
No, the water level in the canal.
You mean the water?
Yeah, the water level within the canal.
Yeah.
is horizontal, right?
I wouldn't say it's one horizontal plane. Not across the whole canal, no.
No?
No.
You, like I say, you will go over
This
what a horizontal
really
plane is
disagree.
then, right?
This is what
it's
where we disagree.
perpendicular.
I agree with that, but we disagree if you can create a horizontal plane at two different spots, right?
Yeah, because you drop a vertical, right? And then you make a horizontal plane.
And you're doing that from the plumb, right? At the two different spots.
Yeah, how far do you think that horizontal plane...
And I'm not finished, Bev. I'm gonna finish my thing first. And this, if you create two horizontal planes from two different spots from the plumb, if those plumbs are not parallel...
Perpendicular.
If those two plumbs are not parallel with each other...
Yeah.
Do you follow me?
Yeah, then the horizontals, when extended, and they meet the other vertical, so you'd have a horizontal meeting an other vertical, then to be true to the geometry, it would have to be perpendicular to it, wouldn't it? Because vertical and horizontal are perpendicular. I mean, everybody knows that, right?
You can't deduce reality from the dictionary. It doesn't care what it says.
Dictionary? Sorry,
right?
Who's talking about the dictionary?
You are using the definition of the word to apply to your expectation of the result.
Excuse me.
That's what you did. That's what you
geometry.
did right now. You're literally applying you are already using the definition to determine what you would expect to see in the result.
No. I'm using the definition of perpendicular within geometry, and we are using the geometry to express what a vertical and a horizontal do, right?
Yeah, but the plumb line isn't. It's something you can measure without knowing anything else, right?
It's vertical. Yeah, it's the practical use of vertical.
And if those two plumb lines are not parallel...
And horizontal is the practical use of the word horizontal is level.
Bev.
And level and plumb are perpendicular, like vertical and horizontal are perpendicular.
Bev, if those two plumb lines are not parallel, do you follow me on that? If those two plumbs are not parallel...
Okay, it's okay.
If
plumb lines aren't parallel... Then the horizontals that intersect the other vertical won't be perpendicular, thus disproved by not Euclidean geometry. What you're using right now is not Euclidean geometry because it doesn't fit the rules within the geometry. Okay? It's quite simple. No, it doesn't.
It does fit it, though.
No, it doesn't, because you're forgetting about the second postulate.
It's just an angle measurement.
Definition 10.
Are you, Bev, are you telling me if we measure anything else than 0 degrees angle between these two, if they are at the same elevation?
What are you measuring the angle from, please?
You're measuring the angle from the plumb line.
Okay, to the horizontal.
Yeah, the horizontal is the perpendicular to the plumb line, yeah.
It's 90 degrees, yes. It's well defined within Euclidean geometry. Okay, right, so we are measuring the angle from a vertical to a horizontal, which are perpendiculars, thus 90 degrees.
That's something you create, right? A 90-degree angle between the plumb line.
It's defined within the geometry.
Yes, it's
defined. It will be proved within the geometry, right? Because this is Euclidean. This is Euclidean geometry we're talking about here, right?
Yes. Good. I agree. But if you have the other plumb line and the plumb line, the other plumb line is not parallel with the first plumb.
How do you measure that the plumb lines are not parallel, please?
You can measure that by pointing a theodolite at the plumb line. If it has to point down...
pointing the theodolite at a plumb line.
At another theodolite, for example.
That's okay. All right.
And if you have to point, if they are
so we need two theodolites.
Yes.
Okay.
Or you don't have to actually need. You don't actually have to need two theodolites.
Just a minute, Funk. But before we go any further, have you done this?
I haven't done it. No.
Have you seen it done anywhere?
I have seen videos of it being done.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, who was performing this test in this video?
I don't remember.
Can you link us to the video?
I can look for the video again, yes.
Yes, please. I'd like to see this. And
sure.
This person measuring that plumb lines are not parallel, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, geometrically, can you just go with this for a second, right?
Yes.
That you have a vertical and a horizontal, right? Now the vertical makes a horizontal, and the horizontal is 90 degrees to the vertical.
Yeah.
How long would you imagine that vertical line to be?
A vertical line.
Yeah, it's just in geometry. Yeah, it's just in geometry.
In this context that you are using now, it's for all purpose. It's just infinitely long.
Okay.
It's a line you can stretch out for as long as you need it.
Okay, so that's a vertical line within geometry. Right? Now, a perpendicular to that line within geometry, what would you call that?
It's if you call that first line vertical, I would call the secondary horizontal, yes.
Okay, and now how long would that line be?
It can be as long as you same answer. It can be as long as you need it.
Okay, so let's just imagine we go on along the horizontal a length. Doesn't matter how far you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then you drop another perpendicular to the horizontal.
Then you are assuming that
just geometry.
Yeah, sure, you can do that. You can do that. Yeah,
right,
sure. I'll follow you.
If the other one was called vertical, would you also call that one vertical because it is perpendicular to a horizontal, right?
If you're calling vertical is the same as being basically plumb line, then I would say over short distance, sure, it will be correct.
But you said the line could be infinitely long, and we didn't put a length to that line. But have you just added a length to that horizontal line now? That you can drop a perpendicular. No, I'm using geometry.
You're using definitions to determine the reality, right?
I'm just using I'm just using Euclidean geometry, okay?
Yes, okay. You're using that, but you are also saying that you're not basing anything on actually measurements now. You're just creating lines on the paper, and then you're saying that
there's no numbers within geometry. Euclidean geometry. There's no numbers.
I'm not finished. Bev, I'm not finished.
Is that a
so you create two?
You keep interrupting me. Like
you interrupted me.
No, but you keep interrupting me. That's why you think I'm interrupting.
Finish, Bev. Tell me when I can speak, Bev.
Okay, the vertical and the horizontal being perpendicular to each other are just a geometric term, right? Now, that's why I prefaced it at the beginning that we are using Euclidean geometry, right? Now, there are rules within the geometry that have lasted for thousands of years. Nobody has ever falsified them. And nobody before, up until now, I mean, I've talking to you guys, you make your own rules up and say that doesn't really apply. But it does apply to Euclidean geometry, and that's what we're talking about with all of the definitions and everything, right? So when I say we can make a perpendicular to another line, and that line goes on forever, I didn't put a distance on it. You did. There's no distances within geometry. So Are you making something else up to define reality? And if you are, can you please give us the definitions of it before you start waffling a load of shite about it, please? Okay, now you may continue now.
Okay. So, Bev, in this, in my head, how I pictured you did it, you started off with a plumb line, right? And you call that vertical, right? A plumb line is a vertical. Okay, Bev?
Yeah, plumb line is definitely a vertical, yeah.
Yeah, and then you create a perpendicular line from that plumb line.
What? Sorry?
You're creating a perpendicular line from that plumb line or that vertical line.
If you're doing it geometrically, then we've just done it geometrically with lines imagined, right? Now, if you want to do it practically, you would say that if you want to establish a plumb or vertical, you would use a plumb line. That is a tool used in reality, right, to establish a vertical. Yeah. Now, if you want the horizontal, you don't need to establish a perpendicular to the vertical, the plumb line. In order to find that, there is another tool that is completely independent of a plumb line, and that is called a level. And the level establishes the horizontal. Two completely independent tools.
What kind of level?
Which kind of level would you like to use?
Just choose one.
Choose one. Water level.
Spirit level. Or what level? Sorry, what level?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sure, I would agree with you that that one would create a level line if you point them across. But it's probably going to go off on a tangent. I would argue that the reason why the water level is level.
Why did you just throw that in then? What is that? Did you notice you did that, or did you just feel like you had to?
I'm talking about a line between the 2 points of the water level.
Yeah, the horizontal line, right?
You can call that horizontal if you want to do that.
It's a horizontal plane. If you're talking about a water level, then the two ends can be positioned anywhere, can't they? And they would establish a horizontal plane of reference.
Yeah. But I want to continue with my train of thought before you do something else.
Okay. Well, you were stepping out into the realms of reality, and you've already admitted that you've never done anything in reality to do with this. Where I have, we've got a little bit of experience here. I just thought you might want to.
If you need those qualifications for me to be able to speak, then I don't think I.
No, I don't need them in order to you to speak. But you're imagining things in your head, and I can give you the benefit of practical experience.
No, I'm just telling you how I picture it, what you just said now.
Yeah. Okay, but I don't want... See, this is where I don't want you to be imagining things that aren't true. Because that would be bad of me to let you carry on imagining falsehoods, right? Yeah.
So, in this... The way I picture it, how you did it, how you explained to me now, was that you have a plumb line, and that's the same as a vertical, right?
Yeah.
And a horizontal is sorry, I think I said it wrong. Vertical is the same as the plumb line, and the perpendicular to that vertical is the horizontal line.
Yes.
And you go along that horizontal line, and you're saying, okay, so I create a vertical line along that horizontal line.
Perpendicular.
Perpendicular to that horizontal line. Yeah, that's a vertical.
Yeah.
Okay, you can say that fine. And the interesting part is you just explain if you. A plumb is something you can measure, right? It's something you can establish at each point, right? You
Yeah.
don't need to know anything else. You can create a plum.
Yeah, you don't. Well, they say you don't need to know anything else. I mean, the
You're
established
just
fact
dropping
is
a lead.
that it
You
is
just drop a lead ball.
plumb, which is vertical, which is perpendicular to the horizontal at that point, right?
And across that horizontal line, if you create a vertical line,
Yeah.
you're saying that the plumb is the vertical line across that horizontal line, wherever you go.
Described as being perpendicular geometrically.
Do you think it's possible to measure it in any way to figure out if this is correct or not?
If level is horizontal, yeah, I think
if
definitely.
It's vertical,
Yeah.
If you're doing
possible.
Bev, if you do what I said now, if you go up from a starting point, you have a plumb at the starting point.
Yeah, if you're perpendicular at the start point, if you can prove that if you can prove that it's horizontal all the way along, and then you drop another plumb at the other end, it will be perpendicular, and then you will have proved that it's perpendicular to the same horizontal.
Then you have to prove it, don't you?
Yeah, that's what the test's for, right?
You can't say it is like that. You have to measure it that way.
Yeah. We'll get an auto level and a team of surveyors to establish 3 points on a horizontal plane.
Yeah.
Over a mile. It's pretty simple.
It has nothing to do with.
But you did agree that level was horizontal.
At that point, yeah, I said that.
Yeah. So if you move a mile further away, then level will still be horizontal, right?
Why? Whenever you say that, you agree with me on that, and you never adding.
We both agree that at the beginning of a mile mark on the canal, that the level will be perpendicular to a plumb line, right? And then a mile further away, the plumb line will be perpendicular to the level again. So you are still having vertical. No, listen, we're not disagreeing of that fact, are we? That at one end, vertical and horizontal are perpendicular, and at the other end, vertical and horizontal are perpendicular. Right?
Yes, but
that's established fact, right?
But the plumb is not the same as the vertical at that point now.
Sorry?
Plumb is not the same as the vertical line you created now.
What? So now the plumb isn't vertical. At which point is the plumb not vertical?
It's actually anywhere from that first point, depending on how precise measurement you.
Okay, so now we've just established one plumb vertical, and now you said that there are no other plumb verticals. Are you owning a plumb vertical now? Once one plumb vertical is established, there can be no other plumb verticals.
There can be as many plumb verticals as you want to create.
Okay, so right at the beginning of the water level of the canal, if we drop a plumb line to the water level, it will be perpendicular to it, right?
At that point.
Okay, and then you go to the other end, right? Will it be vertical and horizontal, plumb and level, perpendicular to each other?
The plumb will not be perpendicular with that horizontal you created in the first place.
What, the first one or the second one? Which one?
The first one you created a horizontal at that first point.
So at the first point where we start, the vertical and the horizontal aren't perpendicular, or the vertical isn't plumb. Which one? Were we getting confused?
I think I'm being pretty clear about this.
Yeah.
Yes, because every time you mention this horizontal line, I continuously have to correct you by adding at that point, and I think you're deliberately removing it every time. Why are you removing that?
Removing what?
Can you repeat after me? I said a horizontal line is perpendicular to plumb at that point.
Hang on, Funk, you have accused Bev of changing what you're saying, but you have no proof of what you're saying being correct.
But no, wait a minute. I've said is that at one end of the canal, listen, Funk, don't just say I'm saying that. At one end of the canal, vertical, the plumb is perpendicular to the horizontal, the level at one end, right? Then we're going to move to the other end and say right at there, the vertical is plumb and it is perpendicular, the horizontal, to the level at the other point. Do you not agree that that is okay?
It's perfectly fine that it could be like that, but
Okay.
that's not what we measure.
What?
That's my point.
See, DP, do you understand what he's saying? Because
I have to address what
the vertical and the horizontal are always perpendicular wherever you are.
I want to address before this.
What
goes
do you
on
not
too long.
understand about this?
I want to address.
In
I don't want to chime
reality,
in
wherever you
accusation.
are, the vertical, the plumb, will be perpendicular to the horizontal, the level.
Bev, I want to address that other person before it goes on too long and you forget what you said. Can I do that?
Hey, I'm listening too. This is Funk. This is pretty cringy, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. The domesticated primate. Just because I might be wrong or right doesn't mean that I'm not entitled to say what I feel is correct or not.
Oh, come on.
You are accusing Bev of changing what you're saying. He doesn't
He
hold
did.
the same. He doesn't hold the same belief system. So why should
I
he?
agree, but if he's
Shut
going
up.
to quote, me, he
Why
quoted
should he
me.
sing your mantra if he doesn't have your belief system? He doesn't have to say after you at all. He corrects you where he feels you are wrong.
No, he quoted
So
me,
you
and
do
he said
not put him right with where you feel he is wrong. He's not misrepresenting you.
Yes,
he
he
is,
did.
he
because
is putting his
he's
point of
quoting
view
me.
across.
He's quoted me, and he's quoting me wrongly. He just quoted me. He said, "You said," and then that's hence the quote. He said, "You said," and then he's just adding half the sentence. He didn't add the second part every time. And when he said, "You said,"
Bev, don't you say to Bev, repeat after me. Because he's not
sure,
going to do it.
That's fine, but then he cannot say "you said" and misrepresent me. He can say "I think this." He can say whatever he thinks himself. I'm not going to stop him from that. But he cannot say "you said Funk" and then say something that I didn't say.
I didn't catch that bit. If he did say that, I didn't catch that bit. I don't think he did say that.
He did say it many times. He said, "You said, we agreed on that." He said all the time.
But you did agree that level is a horizontal plane right at the beginning of this conversation.
At that point.
Yeah, but at that point is a horizontal plane.
Yeah, that extends out infinitely.
Yes, but
So
I said
you are
when you
contradicting yourself.
No, I'm saying when you create a horizontal line at that point.
That horizontal line is infinite.
Sure, it's infinite, but if you create a horizontal line at the second point, it doesn't have to be the same as the first one.
Can you prove that?
Well, it's something you just create.
So you can't prove it with geometry because it doesn't fit Euclidean geometry. It breaks the second postulate. And, well, I may as well say the 11th axiom as well. All right angles are equal.
Then don't call the second line horizontal, then call it something else. if that's your definition of it, because they are different, whatever you want to call it.
He's just making up a new word. So one of them's horizontal, and the next one's going to be.
He's going back to fight the flat Earth geometry here.
Yeah.
He's making up a new horizontal that isn't horizontal.
I'm using Euclidean geometry.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Creating two planes. They're not.
If you were using Euclidean geometry, you wouldn't have to be making up another form of horizontal, would you? Because it would already be established.
A second plane is still Euclidean geometry just because it's angled differently than the first one.
But you have to prove that it is angled differently, and you can't.
That's fine.
That is a claim of yours. That is a claim of yours that you can't substantiate.
I would say it's something that has been measured countless times.
You would say, but you can't substantiate.
I can do that. I can show you the video where it has been done.
Go on then. Off you go. Go get it. Because at the moment it's just an empty claim.
Yeah, have a look at Slice Barcane. I mean, I know you don't know who he is, Funk, but I mean, look at his saying. His disgusting behaviour that somebody's mocking your own disabled son is disgusting. And if you have a look at the top, I mean, what's it doing? He said, facts, like straight line curves, right? That's mocking his disabled son. But, I mean, he is my son. He doesn't have any children. I don't have any grandparents. So that's Slice Barcane accusing somebody of mocking their disabled son when they don't even have a disabled son. That's pretty, it's pretty bad, right? For him to publicly be doing that sort of stuff.
Is your son disabled in the first place?
Atheism degeneracy. That's really what that boils down to.
Is what? Sorry?
I'll say that just boils down to atheism degeneracy.
What?
What do you think, Funk? I mean, does it matter if I have a disabled son? I
don't like arguing against. I don't like personal attacks, regardless.
Yeah, well, I'm in the same, but I mean, there's not all the people on your side, especially people like Slice Barcane, right?
I mean, people are dicks, regardless. Yeah. There are people who are.
But most people don't know you, Funk. I mean, Slice Barcane thinks he's a big name in this.
Apparently he's not that big because I have never heard about him.
Okay.
Just because you've never heard of him.
I'll go along with he's not big. He's probably just a troll. But I mean, I say he likes to think he's a big name. I mean, he thinks he's up with the people like I don't know, Red's Rhetoric. Is he there? I think he does.
I've heard about Red.
I think he thinks he's a Fight the Flat Earth type level.
Red's Rhetoric did some proper experiments, I would say. So I think his.
What about Fight the Flat Earth? Where would you put Fight the Flat Earth in the hierarchy of?
I don't know.
Globe defenders. Do you not know him?
Yes, I know about him. I've seen some of his videos. I wouldn't say I don't like the way he is angling this.
Okay, but you'd have to put Slice Barcane lower than Fight the Flat Earth then, because you've never even heard of Slice Barcane, have you?
Regardless of how famous he is, I would put him lower anyway. Yeah, if you want to use that word, because
infamous, perhaps, with Fight the Flat Earth. I wouldn't say famous.
Yes, but Bev, you said like you're putting below him. You said,
yeah,
right?
Slice Barcane, right? Yeah.
And I said as a person, I would put him below Fight the Flat Earth based on what he's saying.
Oh, right. Even though Fight the Flat Earth has publicly called me a child abuser for saying that level is horizontal and teaching that to my son, even though you've said that level is horizontal yourself. You said you agreed with him when he said that earlier. Yes. Can you remember that?
Yes, that's because he's not talking about one point, he's talking about many measurements.
Okay, but
That's
it
why-
doesn't sound like that. He doesn't say anything. Like, are you sure you're not interpreting that because that's what you want to, like you want to hear him say that? But he doesn't actually say that, does he? He just says, if
Yeah,
you
it's a
say
level.
level is horizontal, then you're a flat earther, really. I mean, that's what he says.
I think what he's saying is that when you measure these level lines, it's going to angle differently. Each one, it's going to angle
Well,
like a curve.
this may be perfect timing then, because I've just been out with a laser level and just leveled in 100 meters within 1 millimeter from each end.
Nice.
So certainly no bending lines or curvature of any form there.
So did you repeat like the straight line test that me and the lad did yesterday?
Yeah, with a laser level.
With the laser level. Nice.
Laser is straight.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a horizontal.
But you
That's
can
strange, that. The connection between the straight lines and horizontal and level.
But you
Because that's
can't.
what we use when we're building things. We either use the optical level or we use the laser level. So
I agree,
but-
and it doesn't really matter inside a building if you're going to make a building.
well,
doesn't
100
really
meters is quite a long distance.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
fact, there was no lack of signal at 100 meters. I mean, I can't really test it any further now. I'm limited to the 100 meters where I am. But I'll be literally going with that laser and as far as I can possibly go with it.
Yeah.
Which is
Nice.
obviously daylight over here as well. So if we can hit 200 meters with the laser level,
Yeah. Well,
I can't
that's
see why we shouldn't.
more than Slice Barkane's test, right?
Well, and the precision of it is literally, I'll put it on the fine setting. There's 2 settings, and you can go from, I think it's like within 1 millimeter, because if you with the receiver on the laser levels, you can, like I said, make it like really, really precise with this. Just literally with a click of a button, it turns it from pin accurate to maybe a little like 1 mil tolerance, maybe 2 mil or something. So yeah, I mean when you hit that line, it's bang on. Yeah. So 200. I think I did about 120 meters.
Is it you going to be beating us with the when we do the speed test?
No,
It's
it took
interesting.
about,
How does it determine
it
elevation?
literally. Hold on 2 secs. It literally took about 15 minutes.
Nice.
You just go
Just
bang, bang,
determine-
bang, bang, bang with a nail, and then you take the level up the other end and just do the same again. And because I, not being thing, but I do this like a lot, and it was strange to be doing it to prove the straight line this time.
Yeah.
Before I've never really thought about it. I just sort of do it and use it as a level. But
Yeah.
now people are telling me that this laser is going to curve to the same degree as the Earth that's curving. Is kind of, I think there's a problem there.
Yeah. It's to
Sorry,
prove.
go on then, mate. Yeah, sorry, I know you've been trying to talk, Frank, or whoever it is talking.
I was just wondering how it determines elevation.
How it doesn't determine elevation. It sets out a horizontal straight line based on the height of the observer or the laser.
Yeah. You measure
Yeah.
from that, right, to the ground. That's what it is. You establish a reference mark that you can then measure from.
I was just thinking if you're pointing at something else in the distance and that laser is pointing at that, how would you know the elevation of that other point? Or the difference in
It would
elevation?
be the same horizontal. You would know the horizontal because you establish the known horizontal, right?
I
That's
agree
it.
with that.
Well, listen,
but
no.
I was asking,
Before you make yourself a fool of
point,
yourself,
you
right?
have-
Yeah, you should stop, right, and listen. That you establish a known horizontal, and that's what the tool does. It gives you that reference, so you know where the horizontal goes. So you start off from a known place and you transfer the horizontal to an unknown place. But then once you get there and do the measurement, it then becomes known, the elevation at that other point. I mean, that's essentially what surveyors do. And like Spot On just said, when they do buildings and they lay out the groundwork, this is the basis of what they do and how they know all of the elevations of the different levels of everything that we're going to put the groundwork in, put your foundations in. They have to be at a known elevation. You find that through these tools called levels.
Yeah, but okay, sure. The elevation, you said you have to know that in the first place, right?
Well, no, you can create the elevation. Yeah. So for my example is I'm running it past some fencing. So I nailed a nail in at a random place, put the staff on to the nail, which is in horizontal, just banged in the side of the post. You put the staff on there. You drop the you've got a slider on the receiver, so your laser's spinning. You slide down the receiver till it bleeps, got a noise on it too to help aid you. And then when it hits that perfect sound, which is a constant sound, and the line shows on the center of the receiver as like a flat line, and then you screw it tight, and then you go to your next wherever you want to go with the laser level. You can do it on your own as well. That's the good thing. And then you just go to your next point, slide it down another post, bang a nail in, so that the actual staff is sat on top of another nail. Then you put another nail in. That's 3 if you like. That's 100 meters. Then what you do is then you lift your original point up, which is what Bev probably described to you, I'm sure. Then lift your original point up, go to your other end, and then you set your staff back on your original point. Now that may be a different measurement, which it will be, because your sight level or laser level isn't going to be the same height as it was originally. It'll be on a different height. Then you adjust the slider to suit your first nail down the other end, and then you move back to your second point, middle point, and back to your first point that you made. And all 3 of those, or I put 4 in, are all within a millimeter. So there's definitely no curvature in a straight line.
Yeah,
in 120 meters.
Yeah, that's what we've been establishing, Crit. I mean that I'm sorry, Funk and Crit. I mean that's what we've been doing this weekend. We've just he's just joined.
Spoken yet, is he?
Yeah,
I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm just mostly listening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Trying to find more servers now that I got kicked from a few.
Which one have you been kicked from, Crit?
I got kicked from the science versus pseudoscience.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, do you believe that crap?
Oh man, who did kick you?
I said if you really think I'm the problem here, just tell me and I'll leave.
But I don't think there is quite a few people who can actually kick you.
I
So
got
who
kicked
did
from that one as well?
See, what they did was they removed all my roles and then kicked me. Yeah, it was really crazy what happened.
Who did it? Like, who did it?
Well, that Fugex is the one who sent me like a victory thread, like a victory message.
But Fug, I don't think Fug can kick people. Because he's just a temp mod.
No, they put him as full mod.
Oh, then I guess he can kick.
He would as soon as I would show up and start talking, all of a sudden, boom, he's right there. I'm like, why as soon as I start posting something, out of nowhere, here comes Fugex. To just call Righteous, and Righteous would just appear and be like, Crit, behave yourself, I'm muting you for 2 hours. And then they said, like QE, and Betty said, don't do that anymore. Yeah, he would just time it.
2 hours.
But I guess he's an apprentice mod now, actually. I guess that's giving him the possibility to kick you.
Yeah, it was really weird. you know.
But did you get like a warning or?
Anyway, are we here to chat about other servers? What
No,
goes on
just
other
this server,
servers,
yeah.
or are we
That's
here to chat about what goes on this server?
Yeah, this server. I'm definitely here now. So whatever happened in the past, it's done. I washed my hands of it. It's over.
No, you haven't got any roles, have you? You've only got live stream roles. What?
Yeah,
You level or curved or what?
level.
Level. Right, hang on. I'll just edit your roles. Give you a level. Right, done.
Yeah, I've watched this channel of many times on YouTube. I've talked to Bev a few times too on other channels. So I knew about you guys. I just didn't have enough time in the day to interact with all the other servers.
Oh, that's cool. Well, you know, we're always here. There's always someone here willing to have a chat. But we just generally don't. We talk about real stuff, you know, like not making up stuff that someone you heard say somewhere. You know, so it's generally, you know, like trying to figure some stuff out rather than going on what other people say, which we are obviously limited to what we can achieve ourselves, and we have to sometimes trust others. But yeah, that's what I'm about anyway.
I've got that Kosho one recorded, ready to go. Is that me cutting out or is?
Yeah, you were clipping. Oh, what was that?
Oh, is that back? Better?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, I've got that Kosho one done from the other day, recorded, and that was God's scalpel mainly. That was a pretty good one.
You got the thumbnail for that one though, haven't you? Bev, or is that me?
Yeah, sorry, she's just walking around talking. So yeah, got the Kosho one from the other day with God's scalpel, talking about.
That's the one that I did the thumbnail for. Yeah.
Yeah. In that he goes over, or he gives us an example of Vsauce to explain that parallel lines intersect. Because I mean, it's sort of this sort of problem that you've got with your geometry funk, right? You all have it, and it's a pretty serious problem for you all. That you've just you imagine some sort of a thing that doesn't work in Euclidean geometry. So there's proofs against what you think, but that doesn't stop you thinking that it's true, right? You can imagine a vertical and a horizontal being only at a point, but then imagine it being a horizontal plane that extends forever as well at the same time. And then imagine a horizontal intersecting another horizontal at an angle. But you can't measure that angle because the only reference you've got is a horizontal.
Yeah. Well, I think that actually they really had, when you look at the whole situation and where we got to with this test, is because the reason it hasn't been done is either they've avoided it or they haven't thought of it. Now, I'm wondering, so when they're talking about like tangents and all this stuff that's down on paper, and then talk about, you know, like surveyors only keep planar surveying locally. Well, you know, when you start looking at the canal in connection to this text, that's the you know, that's the reference point that they're missing, because otherwise they've got sea level, that's 0, but they seem to think that's like on a ball. But when they realise that 0 is literally a 0 point horizontal, not one that doesn't curve. Well, I say that, I mean, you know, the test hasn't been done yet, and I'm open, you know, I mean, who knows, it may show some sort of something that may shock them.
Yeah.
But, you know, from from common sense
and geometry.
Yeah.
Because like thinking about it, when you put it in that sort of sense, right? We're doing a 100-meter water level line, straight horizontal line, and then we're going to scale that up to a mile, right? And then, so like all we're doing is we're showing you here's a straight line, and then we'll just scale it up to a mile just to check, and then it's a straight line.
And then don't forget, Bev, that we can take those 2 internal half-mile ones and put them to the outside, which can turn it into a 2 mile.
Yeah.
So we're going from the end of your garden to 100 meters to a mile to possibly 2 miles.
Right, and then we're doing that at the side of a canal that's 27 miles long. Right, so it's just we're going in this straight line. And it just scale it up a bit, make it a bit bigger. It's a straight line. It's still a straight line. Like level is horizontal.
If we establish a straight line for 200 meters, then we're only moving at 7 or 8 times. We could try that. There's so many different ways to establish this straight line and get it so that it's provable that it's straight.
I had another thought this morning. You can, if you get 5 or 6 theodolites, right? You know what you were saying about foresight and backsight, Bev?
Yeah.
If you get 5 or 6 theodolites and they're all, one's front sight is another one's back sight, and you get them all in a line, so you've got data point theodolite, data point theodolite, data point theodolite, and they're just turning through 180 degrees.
Yeah.
And they're measuring the data points.
That's the dream, right? Then we can say to people, look, we've got the water level, right? You can look at that. You can walk to this end and look at it, walk to that end and look at it, look in the middle, look at the 2 reference water levels. You can look at that visually, but you can also go down this line, just walking from one auto level to the next, personally, writing your number down. You'd be a surveyor. You can just write it down in your little book, and then when you get to the end of so you don't even have to set the levels up. You can just go down there, look through the scope, turn, and then walk to the next one. Do all your references, write it down in a book. So then everyone can do it themselves. We don't have to show everyone or convince everyone.
Yeah, you could have that. And also have 8 laser levels set up every 200 meters. So you'd have all those forms of creation of a horizontal line.
Yeah.
The laser's good because you can see this. You can see it. It's like.
But it'd be dangerous. You'd have to give everyone special glasses.
Oh yeah.
Lasers flying everywhere.
Oh yeah, for the advanced.
Yeah, you'd have to keep it at shin level. Watch out for dogs. But yeah, there's loads of ways of doing it. And that would be a really easy one if we could just get people to come and look and do them themselves. If we can get enough surveyors to come, then that might be possible. I mean, I've got an auto level. Spot on's got an auto level. Just everybody bring your own auto levels when we do it.
Yeah.
Well, we're definitely not going to shy away from trying to hide anything here. We're just showing people what happens in reality. It's the other people that are saying, well, funk's gone. It's the other people that are saying, well, look, yeah, you saying that reality is reality, then you're a flat earther, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Then you didn't link your accounts in quite the same way, and I can't remember what. I think I lost the details. But anyway, it was when I started going on Google Hangouts, when there were Hangouts, and you'd be on one account, and it would stick you in the Hangout on another account. So, the first time I did it, I was like Gem Panda. So, oh, all right then, I'll be that. It doesn't really matter. And then, I don't know, a couple of times down the road, and I was under Jeremy, I've got an account under my real name.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I didn't want that out there. That wasn't in the plan. So then that was out there.
Yeah, that'd be YouTube. They completely, I don't know what they did, but they screwed it up completely.
So the moral of that story is never ever make an account in your own name, and then that can never happen. But I can't remember how I managed to do that, but I did.
I'm quite lucky. I've got a really generic name. So if anybody finds out my surname, good luck, because there's about 15 million people with the same surname.
They found out a load of stuff, but it's all old stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, and we know where you work, and it's like a place I worked at like 7 years ago. Well, now it's about 12 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So that
there's no need for. I don't agree with all that anyway.
No.
I think if people have got pictures and they put them out there, fine, because people use my pictures, and I'm not really that fussed. I've got my name, but it's when they start doing the other stuff, digging for where you work, and
that's creepy shit.
That is creepy shit. So no one deserves, people crossing the line, do they? Not really.
No, that is crossing a line, I think. Just keep it all online. Don't do any real life stuff. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah, I got 24/7 screwed me over with all of that, though. Big time. Especially Mr. Jedi.
Right.
But
yeah, I hear you.
He's paying me back the money he owes.
That's good.
Oh, yeah, but he's paying me back £5 a month.
Oh, my God.
So it's going to take him probably the next 5 years to pay me back.
Kind of a bit sort of...
A little bit.
Disrespectful, isn't it? But...
Mm-hmm. But I knew
I know what it's like to be broke, though. And, when £5 a month means a lot of money, you know what I
mean? yeah, but I know him, and I know what he spends his money on.
Yeah.
And I know that... I always knew that he didn't have a lot, but he's got enough to be on Discord all day and enough to have weed every day. So, each to their own. But people are weird, and both sides as well. Got some dodgy people around.
Well, I know I'm weird.
Well, the thing is, we're all weird. If we weren't all a little bit weird, it'd be so boring, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
And I quite like being slightly weird. I don't find it insulting being called weird.
Kooky, I got called.
Kooky? Oh, that's an old one.
Look at what we do. How can we not be considered at least a bit weird?
Yeah, I guess.
Who, you guys or us?
No, all of us.
All of us.
I never wanted a channel. I never wanted to do live streams. I mean, come on, I never used to bloody speak. It took me months to get enough courage to actually speak. And still now, if I'm somewhere and I'm not quite comfortable already and someone calls me out, I just freeze.
Yeah, my first video I made, I didn't want to put my voice on it. Just did text.
Mm-hmm.
Just like fucking loads of text. I thought this isn't going to work.
No, I got to
go on with something else.
Well, I had to make the channel because 24/7 happened. And all that shit. So we all needed, there was quite a few of us that needed somewhere else to go.
Right.
And that's what we did. Mainly my channel's for people who don't get the voices everywhere else, like 24/7. Because you don't. There's only certain people who get to talk over there.
Right, yeah. It's a bit...
And if people have got stuff to show, come over. Just use the server. That's what it's here for. Just don't be asswipes is all I ask. Try and take the server down.
Oh, God.
But yeah.
It is bad, isn't it?
What TBag is doing.
I spend so much of my time now sorting out issues between people in my server. Just so much. Hours a day.
I know. I think they should give us like a counselling qualification
Right.
through like Discord.
Haven't you already got one?
I have. I've got a qualification for conflict management. Weirdly enough.
It's almost like you were made for it.
Yeah, we could do with a bit of conflict management going on.
Well, it's just talking, getting people to talk. That's what I try and do. And in real life, when I've got spare time, I go and volunteer and I sit and I talk to people. Just, random. They might just feel like no one's out there that they can talk to, and they come and have a cup of tea, and that's all they need, just to chat about the weather or anything. Or sometimes I have to help people claim against the government because one guy was a veteran with PTSD, and they stopped all his benefits for no reason, and he didn't know what to do. Got that sorted for him.
You seen what TBag's doing?
TBag.
Yeah, the guy that we just had in here earlier that's reporting this
What
server
name?
to Disca,
Okay, what name did
Bragsdale.
Is that the name he came in under?
Yeah, T Bragsdale.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And he's been on to his a lawyer friend.
What, Tony? Has he got Tony Riley on call?
And he's
probably
just
not
started.
the best person to ask if he's asking Tony.
Well, I don't know. He's got a lawyer friend. We don't know who the lawyer friend is, but he's going to try and do Twitter and YouTube because it's a rebroadcast of recorded phone calls.
No, it's not.
Well, that's what I don't know. I don't know, Jem. Have you ever had this where people try and get your channel shut down because they've come into your chat and talked about it or something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
We were talking about it just a minute ago.
He's definitely, I don't know, lawyer friends.
I did have a bit of somewhat of an attack, I guess, a while back. So, not quite in that vein, but not dissimilar.
There's always going to be someone out there who doesn't like your server and wants to get rid of it. But it's very petty.
And if you say stuff that people don't like and you're critical of them,
then yeah.
Sometimes they take it, well, I won't say the wrong way, that, they take it how you said it and they're offended by it and they want to hit back.
These people are being offended at level being horizontal, though.
Yeah, well, we're all offended by that, Bev.
Well, we know about that, but I mean,
because you won't stop droning on about it.
Well, it's
true.
That's
what's really offensive.
It's true, right?
I'm not going to argue with you about it, Bev. I can't be arsed. If you want to believe you're on a winner with that one, then
don't believe it's provable, Jem. Come on.
Is it useful though? Is it useful to your argument though, Bev?
Absolutely, it's the basis of it.
If you think so, what's your strategy then to with this argument? How are you going to take it forward for the betterment of humanity?
Well, what we do is we prove, like we already have, that a horizontal is a straight line, and then we prove that through geometry that it's a straight line. Two straight lines can't share a common segment. Then we prove.
So your plan is just to keep insisting that this is true. That's your strategy going forward?
Well, I can prove it, like I say, Jem.
Okay, but that's still you just insisting that it's true.
Or some would call it proving.
All right. Well, if you prove it, I mean, when you say you can prove it, but then you said with geometry. So when you say
logical,
you can prove it,
geometric, and practical, yes, all three together.
All right. So you are actually going to do something in reality.
Yeah, we have done something in reality. Are you not hear about it, or not?
Well, I heard you were doing something the other night, and it got is this the Brian Leakey one? And he's stopped. Didn't he disappear halfway through the stream or something?
Brian Leakey?
We're not doing anything with Brian.
No.
Right. Okay, so
Brian's on his own.
what have you actually done apart from your whiteboard stuff?
Well, we went out yesterday and we did a live stream through this Discord channel.
Oh, right.
So if you were in here, you'd have
Well, I
seen a
wasn't.
live stream of us.
What happened in the live stream?
The bit before that we've proved or shown you about on the whiteboard that you probably took no notice of, when we were laying out how we were going to show.
Oh no, I did. I thought that won't prove anything. But
what, the 3 lines, the 3 points?
I thought I had to ask other people to see if there was something that I was missing, because I couldn't understand how you hoped it would be useful to you. But they confirmed I wasn't missing anything and it wouldn't be useful to you. But anyway,
a straight line, you don't think?
Let's say you've performed this, whatever you've got to do in your canal or whatever.
Just tell him what we're doing. Tell him the practical stuff that we're doing, and then
do I have to? Do I have to hear it, Emma?
Yes, Jim.
Oh my goodness!
It's pretty simple.
It doesn't matter. It's
very, very, very simple, right? What we've just done this weekend is we've established that when you look through a level, horizontal, auto level, or even a laser level, right, and it establishes a line. Then when you traverse and you move that level to take a backside onto it, it is the same straight line.
Okay.
Right, so that's what's been established. So you can do a horizontal straight line. Amazing, I know. But so then what we do is we get a surveyor.
Right.
And so we get a surveyor to come and mark 3 points on a horizontal, on the same horizontal. One at the beginning, one at a half-mile point, and one at the mile point. That's 3 points on the same horizontal. And it's marked on a pole. Here, here, and here, right?
Right.
Okay, and then we just get a massive water level. And fill it up with water.
Okay, so having done this, then what? Then what happens then?
Well, you look at the water level.
No. Because
this is what is an observation.
We've concluded that Bev is correct.
We've concluded what? That the water level is at the same level as the horizontal that the surveyor's done.
This silly experiment
is that what you're predicting, Jem? That the water level will be at all of the 3 marks that they've been marked as a horizontal?
I think the problem is that you aren't comparing the first mark with the last mark.
But that's what the water level tool does, Jim. We can tap in a point in the middle and get it to reference the middle as well.
I don't want to argue with you.
What would you want? So, say we do all the practical stuff, and you were saying, what do you do after? What do you mean, what do you do after?
Well, if let's say you do this measurement, and it confirms what you expect it to confirm, then what? How do you?
We say level.
How does that? What do you do then?
We've just proved that level is horizontal, Jem, haven't we?
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
But that's all we're concerned about is doing it, getting it recorded, and sharing it. It's not for us to. I don't know what are we supposed to do after that?
I don't know.
Just share it. I mean, there's no master plan. We're not going to be like Tony and going to schools and trying to get the curriculum changed. But we just want to do it. There's no big plan. It's just doing the stuff that's practical and seeing for ourselves, which to be honest, I think it's a good thing. If everybody went out and started doing this practical stuff and got an idea of it, because I've never used these tools. Well, I've used it at spirit level, but I've never used an auto level and stuff, so it'll be interesting for me to go out and learn this stuff and actually practically use it. And otherwise, apart from this, I would probably never have had any reason to.
Okay, well, I guess, yeah, I can see this value in learning something new, of course.
And yeah,
I'm
and
not
if I
against,
can,
I'm
and
not
if I
against that idea. And if you feel the need to prove things to yourself in this way, then why not? But I
yeah.
think that idea in itself is flawed and really is fundamental to the whole flat Earth idea. The idea that
Well, it
go and
does
need
kind
to
of get
go.
over the fact that people say, "Oh, you guys never do anything. If you don't know how to do this, you don't know how to do that." Well, we're actually going out and trying to figure out how to do this stuff,
Right. Well, yeah, good for you.
and we're just sharing it. We're not forcing it on people. We're just sharing what we're doing. If people want to watch, cool. If they don't, fair enough.
All right.
Might even get to see me at some point on a live stream from a canal. Oh my god!
You're not curious, Jem? Are you not?
No, I know what the shape of the Earth is.
Okay, so
so
you know what you're going to predict then, right? You're
I
not
don't
curious
know.
as to whether it's actually
Absolutely
there
not.
or not.
Absolutely not, because there's a sort of a random variable in this experiment, which is you.
What do you mean an
I
experiment,
don't know,
Jem?
I don't know,
Why do you keep
or
calling
measurement.
it it's an observation, Jem.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Filling a pipe up and filling it with water and then checking the level. I mean, is it too difficult or something? I mean, what?
No, I'm not objecting to it.
So what? What are you saying is the random variable? Are you saying that I can't fill a hose pipe up with water?
I can't predict what will happen in this experiment because it's like all observation, like all things of this nature. It's subject to human fallibility, and this one no less than any other. And you're the key element in that, aren't you? In providing that human fallibility, you could mess up somewhere. You're not infallible, I take it.
Okay, so give us your input. Where do you think that the problems may lie?
I have no idea.
Filling a hose pipe up with water.
You might sneeze on something, and that might, affect it. I have absolutely no idea.
A citation for the water level being.
I'm not saying you will fuck it up. I'm saying I can't make a prediction. And as far as I'm concerned, even if this is successful for you and it shows what you feel what you expect it to, it won't be compelling in any way to me because there's already a massive body of evidence in place that refutes it, that I'm signed up to. You may have rejected it all, but I haven't. And so your one amateur piece of stuff is, from my point of view, is uncompelling, I'm afraid. And these things always will be.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I'm not coming at this from your point of view, and I think you guys tend to forget that sometimes.
No. Or did we?
I don't subscribe to the philosophy that I need to prove everything to myself. I trust data from reputable sources. So
pictures from space, you mean, don't you? That's what you mean.
That's one. That's one government. That's one reputable source, but there are many others.
Space is a reputable source for you.
Sorry, Bev. I've got to point out that Gem Panda said data, and I'm so happy. Thank you. You didn't say data.
Okay.
Trust the government.
I haven't got a good reason to reject pictures from space. If you have, you can give me that reason, but it won't be very good.
Picture of a unicorn.
Well, in that case, you're...
And Bigfoot.
Right, but where does that leave you with your evidence once you've produced it?
Can I ask then if
it will be useful to you because you were there on the day, but if everyone follows that rule, it's not going to be useful to anybody else, is it? And this again is another aspect of this philosophy which makes it so flawed. And
So you don't want people going out and trying this stuff for themselves, or you just think it has no value because it's already been done?
Well, you've just dismissed its value because you're saying that if it's pictures or video, well, there's pictures and video of Superman and Bigfoot, so pictures and video wholesale can't be trusted, and yet your plan is to produce pictures and video of this observation.
Yeah, but you can come, Jem. We're going to invite you. You can be there.
Again, Bev, I'm not confused about the shape of the Earth. I don't need to be there to draw a conclusion on that issue.
Okay, then. Well, you don't bother looking at the pictures and don't bother coming. Okay? But would you not agree that if we find out that level is horizontal, then your imaginary space ball has got some problems?
Well, only amongst you guys, because nobody else can know about this.
So you're accepting bendizontal as a possibility. In fact, the more likely
what does
outcome.
That mean? Come on, we're adults.
Well, horizontal is a straight line. You can't bend a straight line around a ball.
I'm not going to do this with you. I'm just not. It's boring.
It's not boring. It's very logical and very simple,
It's not
Jem.
logical in any way, Bev. It really isn't. If you think it is, I suggest take it to someone that isn't in this community. Try and make this argument to someone relevant.
Yeah, I do it anytime, Jem.
Go and try and tell
Jim
this
Panda, how can you discount
someone
how can you
that can
discount
actually make a
surveying,
difference?
Jim?
I just
Jim
think
Panda.
you're
Jim Panda, why do you discount surveying as if it's just pseudoscience?
Who does? I don't.
Of course you are.
No, I'm not.
You're saying that surveyors can't measure the shape of the land.
I've never said that at all. Wish you wouldn't do silly. What a silly straw man. When did I say that?
Is that not what you're saying?
No,
This
that's
is silly?
the conclusion that you're drawing. It's a silly straw man, and it's silly. Now, are we? Let's get to this point. Back to this point of photos and video. Are they acceptable as evidence or not? Because if they're not, how do you intend to convey the results of your?
We are going to invite everybody that wants to actually come and look at it for themselves and check it for themselves to come for themselves. I mean, we can do it. Obviously, if it's not close enough to you, we can possibly come back and do it again for some other people, because it will be repeatable.
Okay, so how many people do you think are likely to come and actually see you do this?
I don't know. It depends how many people are truly fussed about it. I mean, you're not, right?
Well, let's say that this happens to be the largest flat Earth gathering on Earth ever, and there are 500 people.
Why do you say flat Earth, Jem? What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. I'm not going to
This
play
is
that.
level and horizontal.
Emma and I have already covered that in a reasonable, sensible way.
Okay.
So that we could have a conversation.
Okay.
You want to use it as a tool to obstruct conversation.
No, I don't. I just want to understand what are you talking about.
So you can hang the conversation up on a silly point.
If you're willing to say,
where you pretend that the term flat Earth means an Earth with no hills or valleys, when no one else on Earth uses the term that
no,
way.
I know what you're going with, Jem.
That's what it means to
You're
you.
going with the fight the flat Earth approach, where you say anybody that says level is horizontal must therefore be a flat earther.
No, I never said that. Never said anything.
That's what fight the flat Earth says.
The fact that you guys have to keep.
But you say that level isn't horizontal, don't you, Jem?
Why are you talking over me, Bev? The fact that you guys have to keep inventing things that I've said should be a pointer to you. That should tell you something.
You should stop changing your mind, Jem.
In order to make your argument, you've got to draw a conclusion from what I've said and then pretend that I said those words, words of your conclusion. It's a classic straw man.
Can I just ask you a few clarifying questions then, Jem?
No.
Do you think level is horizontal?
And I'm absolutely not going to do this with you, Bev. It's
Is that
boring,
a no
stupid.
or yes?
It's irrelevant. It's
Right,
irrelevant
well, Jem,
of the earth.
how
It's irrelevant
can
to
I
the
have a
argument.
conversation with you
All it is is
about
the
anything
definition of
if
a
you
word in the
refuse to
dictionary.
answer the question?
Because I've answered it probably 1,000 times, and I've probably heard it asked 1,000 times.
But you said
probably
I was just
100
putting
other
words
people.
in your mouth.
Yes, you are.
Well, tell me, Jem, please.
You've literally just put words in my mouth.
Is
That's
level
what I'm
horizontal?
talking about. I'm not gonna do this with you, Bev.
You
Again.
can't answer that, even though you know it's true.
Look, I've answered it many, many times. I've been through this.
Say yes. Just say yes.
Listen, I'm talking, Cleary. I've been.
Say yes, it is.
Cleary, I'm talking. I've been over this for hours and hours with Bev. There's nothing to be gained from it. He admitted himself. He admitted it. I said to him, if I can
Are you putting words in my mouth now, Jem, are you?
Well, you won't know if you interrupt me and don't hear the words. But he admitted himself. I said to him, if we concede that you are absolutely correct on this, what then? What? He said, that's it. I said, so this isn't about the shape of the earth then? He said, no. I'm not a flat earther, he said. So
it's about level being horizontal.
All he's literally doing is arguing about what he thinks the definition of a word should be. That's literally what he's doing. It's nothing to do with the shape of the earth.
Not arguing, Jem.
Whether surveying can take place, whether surveyors can draw a straight line. He's not arguing any of that. He's arguing
Not arguing.
the definition of a word. That's absurd. It won't affect reality.
You're the
in
one
any way,
that's
and I
arguing,
won't
Jem.
waste any of my time doing it with you, Beth. Not a second.
Why are you here then?
Well, I've already explained that. I didn't come in here to argue level with Bev. And if you think that that's the only purpose of this,
Calm down,
then
Jem, please. We
then
don't want people getting angry and upset when they come in here.
He's in the triggered phase.
Don't be deliberately infuriating, Bev. You are deliberately being infuriating. This isn't an adult conversation that normal, reasonable adults would have.
Yeah, you're quite right, Jem.
Emma and I demonstrated what one of those was like. It was perfectly amicable, and still until you started with this silliness. Go ahead and do your retarded experiment and keep saying level is horizontal. It's got you nowhere. It will never get you anywhere. It's
not an experiment, Jem. All right.
In fact, most people.
It's an observation.
You might be interested in this, Emma. Most people think he's just trolling. Most people on my side of the argument don't think he even thinks the Earth's flat. They think he's just.
Would you say? You would say, Jim. You would say that level is horizontal, right? Separate from anything else, just the definition.
Thanks for the conversation, Emma. It was good while it was you and I being adult, but I'm not going to waste my time with these retards or idiots.
Jem, go over to your channel, Jem, and you can abuse some people over there.
So, Jim, level is horizontal, right?
Drumming up some business for later on tonight.
Sorry, I ran him off. I think I brought a lot of people in on y'all, and then I left a while ago. It was probably crazy here.
The fact is, they haven't got an answer for it, and that's the problem.